Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Light back with another YouTube video, and in today's video we're going to be doing DCMCU concepts part number 36, or replacing the MCU with the DCEU part number 36. And yeah, in today's video we're going to be doing Black Panther 2, or Wakanda Forever. Sorry about that. And I'm going to be replacing it with Aquaman 2. So yeah. Um So again, I'm moving off concepts and stuff, so I don't know exactly what's gonna go on, so I don't have to replace it perfectly. I just want to let you guys know that quickly before, like, I start with the concepts and stuff. Uh, but anyways, continuing on with that, I just know it's gonna be following, of course, Black Panther, and yeah, and in this universe, the replacement is technically Aquaman. So yeah. Anyways, in terms of my inspiration, I honestly didn't really have. I mean, I had some inspiration to essentially create a story of what I think will happen, as well as just kind of basing it a little like. There's no real comic I based it off of. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. Continuing on here. Let's get into the plot and the characters and stuff. So first of all, we've got Aquaman. He is supposed to come in this. So yeah, he main character of the thing, as well as his associated characters. Mira will be back and everything. Important to note as well that actually Aqualad is being introduced in this. Specifically the Jackson Hyde one. He will be introed into this, as well as there's now, if you remember back in my original Aquaman video, I made the slight change that Manta wouldn't be really in that movie. I think he was just in the post-credit scene, really. So essentially, in this movie, it's gonna be a lot more heavy introductory into it, as well. So yeah, and I can't remember if I said this properly, but I originally intended to keep that first scene still in the movie. So when Aquaman essentially uh, leaves Black Manta at the time for dead, that still happens. But in this case, we don't see King Orm essentially helping him out and stuff like that. So yeah, that'll happen. As well as King Orm is still alive. He just got locked away. And I'm pretty sure as well I made the collective decision to keep his mother dead for sure, because I felt as if it was kind of strange to do it. So yeah, I've made the decision to essentially keep his mother dead. So yeah, Orm was essentially arrested of sorts, and he is locked away, but he will be appearing in this movie. Uh, so yeah, continue on with that. Again, that's basically our characters right there. Now let's get into like plot details. So first of all, the plot details, of course, is that Black Manta will be essentially emerging. So taking place after, of course, the second movie, where we did see essentially Aquaman's now like the king of Atlantis. Yeah, he's the king of Atlantis, and he rules Atlantis now essentially. So yeah, it's following into his rule. When essentially we end up actually getting a bit of origin, as well as Black Manta kind of returning. So from the get go, I want to say this as well. You see how King Orm essentially supplied Black Manta with those essentially supplied Black Manta with the equipment and stuff. At this time, Black Manta has essentially doesn't have this equipment, but he's armed with certain weapons and stuff, weapons of his own design at the time. So essentially, yeah, he's gonna go with a team of mercenaries to essentially infiltrate into Atlantis, where he's then gonna be stopped essentially by Aquaman, and that's when we're gonna kind of get introduced to Aqualad as well. So he will be introduced. It's important to note as well, like this is a very base design for Black Manta, so it's not full potential yet, and that's when Black Manta gets his ass beat essentially, and he's essentially locked away in Atlantis prison, just because Aquaman doesn't want to just slaughter him. same with he doesn't like he just created like a vicious crime essentially, as well as the fact that he doesn't want Black Manta going back up to the surface, bringing more men down, and then trying to fight them again. So he just leaves Black Manta essentially in a prison, where it is then he meets essentially King Orm. For the first time, it's important to note, for the first time he meets King Orm. And King Orm is literally like, "Who are you, surface dweller? Like, you." And then Black Manta goes on his whole spiel about, "I want to kill Aquaman," blah, 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 and stuff like that. And essentially, King Orm is like, "I want to kill Aquaman too." And then, essentially, Black Manta's like, "I think we should have like a little partnership going." So that's essentially what happens. King Orm and essentially Black Manta essentially decide, yeah, let's have a partnership for now. Even though like King Orm is not 100% like he doesn't trust Black Manta again, because again he doesn't like what he calls surface dwellers, and Black Manta is one. So then it's revealed that essentially Black Manta, what his big plan was, is he essentially wanted to get caught, but then he's kind of masterminding the whole thing, and he actually essentially wanted to get caught just so he can get into Atlantis and stuff, set off a beacon, and then get some more soldiers in to essentially free him, as well as get some new armor and stuff because they need the Atlantis armor and everything. And yeah, that's what happens. And then Black Manta frees King Orm and says, "Come and help us." So that's exactly what happens. But King Orm's kind of being like, is greedy of sorts and whatever. But then King Orm thinks maybe he could benefit from this, and he's like, if this man kills Aquaman, then I'll kill him, and then I'll be ruler of Atlantis again. That's essentially how King Orm is thinking. So then King Orm actually shows him and points him into the direction of like some of the Atlantean scientists, who then King Orm essentially shows them, uh, shows Black Manta and some of his soldiers where some of the Atlantean gear is, as well as where the gear is, as well as he shows some new science things, like for example, what happened in Aquaman 1 when Orm showed them all those scientist things or whatever, the experiments and stuff, like the water, like his laser eyes and whatever. So yeah, he does show them that, and essentially they all go back up into their ship, where it's then they essentially escape, and they are able to run off. So that's what happens, and then yeah, we get more stuff into insight into Aquaman and stuff, how he's dealing with the ruling and stuff, as well as we get a bit of an origin story into Aqualad and exactly what happened with him. Uh, but it's important to know who his father is a mystery at this point. Actually, it's completely like mysterious at this point. So that's what happens with that. Yeah. Meanwhile, on the surface world, Black Manta and King Orm, or I don't know if you should be calling him King Orm at this time. I guess you could just call him like Orm or something, or maybe even Ocean Master. I don't know what his correct technical term is, but I mean, Orm is essentially there with Black Manta, and essentially Black Manta is creating new suits and stuff. So then he officially creates the Black Manta kind of suit, as well as Orm gets his trident and stuff, and then he arms up some soldiers, like a whole militia of sorts. Like this is like probably like a few hundred soldiers. He arms up essentially, and then it's that. Then when we like learn a bit of what went down in a flashback scene and whatever. So yeah, and then they all depart for the ocean. Whereas then we end up seeing like a full blown assault on Atlantis, and this time instead of again Black Manta literally getting his butt kicked and stuff, essentially what would happen is Orm and Black Manta would literally fight Aquaman and the Atlanteans, actually winning. They're actually winning. But Aquaman, he's doing the most. He's killing. He essentially is killing a bunch of them, but it's just like not enough. And essentially, he underestimates Black Manta, who he thinks, oh, this is just a regular guy. So that's essentially what he does. He goes right at him with his trident and literally tries and to defeat him. But then, like, Black Manta realizes I got the upper hand, and he literally just beats up Aquaman and essentially destroys him. He beats him up very bad and kicks him to the bottom of the ocean. It's then where we see like Atlantis is essentially like this, and Black Manta essentially assumes rule over Atlantis. He's literally like, Atlantis is mine, Aquaman is dead. Like this is what I wanted and stuff like that. And then it's then there where we see Orm essentially like, I am the hero Atlantis needs. Like I don't like you and whatever. And he reveals his master plan that he wants to be ruler of Atlantis. So then the two duel, but then again, Black Manta is pretty much a mastermind. So he knew this was gonna happen. So before they even could duel, this guy just literally um, uses his laser vision and literally beams up King Orm, damaging him. It's then they decide to fight, and then Black Manta just beats up King Orm, and then yeah, he's completely dead. And then we actually see him pull out a sword and essentially duel, like sword versus trident duel, and then we end up seeing Black Manta actually kill Orm. He kills Orm. Uh, yeah, so that's what happened. As well as it's important to note some of the allegiance to Orm, the soldiers that were allegiant to Orm, actually decided to come out of hiding and essentially aid in this. So it's important to note that as well. So it's essentially Black Manta's mercenaries with Orm's Atlanteans and stuff. So yeah, that does happen. Then when they see this, they are hesitant to actually go kill Black Manta. But it's like he just killed King Orm, so I mean I guess he assumes control. So that's essentially what happened. It is then and there we end up seeing essentially Black Manta's ruling Atlantis now. And now people are falling in line to essentially falling in line to, of course, people are falling in line to the rule of Black Manta. So now essentially Black Manta's a ruling Atlantis of sorts. He's completely the ruler as well. And we see like he slaughters and puts in jail all those Atlanteans that don't are disobedient to him and whatever. So that's what happens with that. Meanwhile, we end up seeing Aquaman actually saved by some sort of whale that helps him, because essentially he can control animals and stuff. And then that does happen, and Aquaman is saved, and then he comes back and he essentially gets some humbling and stuff. He becomes a little bit more humbling. And then it's then there where we see Aqualad and Mira essentially who have escaped, and literally like, Aquaman, we need your help we need to fight this guy off and whatever. So that's what happens with that, and essentially that's what happens with that, and then all of them go back to Atlantis. Some of the Atlanteans help, and they go into a full-fledged battle. And then Aquaman ends up, like, instead of underestimating Black Manta, actually fights him, and he manages to destroy Black Manta's helmet, or at least destroy one of the lenses at least. So he's able to do that. So that does happen. But then and there, Aquaman decides to give him mercy instead of killing him. Again, he decides to give him mercy, and actually rips off his helmet, showing his real face. Now it's important to note, technically nobody's seen his real face other than Aquaman. So then it's really shown as well. And King Orm actually saw it too, but that's about it. Important to know, Aqualad never saw his real face. So then that happens, and we end up seeing that all that happen with that. and then essentially Aquaman locks Black Manta away in the dungeon where he's completely locked away as well. Now, this is where things get a little, not tricky, but a little thinking wise. So then it's revealed that Aqualad is literally like searching through things, and he's like, I have a human father, because again, I think, yeah, I have a human father. And he's like, Black Manta shares very similar resilience. And then he looks at, because his mother kept a photo of his father just in case he ever came back or something. And essentially, he looks at the photo and realizes the very shocking resemblance he has to his father, and that's where it left on a cliffhanger. And yeah, that's pretty much it, though. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.